I'm outside and I'm barefaced. How cool is that? It's been so long since I last go out with my bare face. See you at home. 大家好, I am home. Let's talk. Let's just catch up where we left off, should we? In the last video, I have talked about solitude and loneliness and the structure of loneliness. Let me see. Have I talked about loneliness as a mood? I think I have. Oh, this one is so important. I need to talk about how loneliness affects our body and our mind. So in this one article that I've read, loneliness can actually trigger our fight and flight responses. How? Because when we are lonely, when we are left alone, we tend to be so in our own bubble, in our own space. And when we do that, we overthink. At least that's what I experience. And I believe most of people are going through like the exact same thing. Maybe not the exact same thing, but it's like similar to that. Something must be correlated between the lines. So I believe that when we are lonely, we feel stressed internally, in our mind, in our body, in a way that we are so unconscious of. Personally, from my experience, flight responses are more to like wanting to isolate myself from everyone. If I am overwhelmed with being alone, which happens a lot because I'm usually not used to this kind of situation, but I have to adjust because of the environment and just growing up as a whole. I need to adjust to being alone. When I am triggered, when my flight responses is triggered by being alone, it's usually because it caused me a lot of stress, and it's usually when I am being provoked by people or by anything around me. If that happens, I will step back. I will not engage with anyone. I will not surround myself with people. I will retreat to a place where there's no one. If I feel lonely and then I try to reach out to you, but you did something that makes me not feel safe to reach out or be vulnerable about, I will retreat from that. This can either go that way or fight responses. Fight responses is when I feel mentally attacked, sort of like, for example, with my family members. I experience this a lot. I was the angry daughter of our family, in a way that when I feel lonely and then I try to make move to approach either my brother, younger brother, my mother, whoever is in the house, is in the family, and then I was not treated well, I will become aggressive, like passively aggressive, because I wouldn't like throw things around. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't throw tantrums, but it will show in my facial expressions, the way I talk, my tone, the way I walk. That is how loneliness affects our body and our mind. It can either make us turn off our entire system, or we will end up being aggressive. Like, that's not the only possibilities, but that's what a lot of people are experiencing. Other than like physically showing signs of being aggressive, I would feel like my heart racing. My heart is pumping faster than usual when I'm mad, which is very scientifically normal when you're angry. It just makes me realize, when you feel lonely and then you try to do something about it, and then people ended up not giving good responses to you, or they ended up triggering you more than they are helping you, it makes you feel like, why am I even trying in the first place? Why am I even reaching out? Why am I even being vulnerable to you when there's nothing you could do to help me? I went through that despair when I was in this like trying to figure myself out process. I was more worried about the fact that I am very easily triggered by my fight and flight responses when I am lonely. That's why I feel the need to, overcome this in a healthy way, because it's not affecting me in a good way. It comes with a lot of choices and options for you to deal with it. And one thing that I also read about is logotherapy. So the thing with logotherapy is that you don't really need to eliminate suffering to overcome it, but instead you need to find meaning in it in order for you to overcome it. But this sentence, you don't need to eliminate suffering, you need to find meaning in it. From my perspective, I feel like you need to eliminate the suffering by finding meaning in it. I think I would phrase it more that way to relate to my situation, and I think it fits better than trying to actually eliminate suffering, because you can eliminate suffering by finding meaning in it. It's not the other way or around. You don't have to choose. At least that's what I think. Also, loneliness is a human condition. It's not a failure. And when I read this during the process of overcoming loneliness, I was mind blown. Honestly, I was mind blown because for so long, loneliness felt like I am not doing well. I am not doing enough to overcome whatever it is that I'm facing. And when it's being worded out that way, loneliness is a human condition. It's not a failure. It brings me an understanding that I didn't have before. It opens up my mind to thinking that actually it's not a system problem. You know what I'm saying? It's something that can be changed. Your perspective on it matters the most. The whole thing with self-discovery has been, mind-blowing. I will say that a lot because it's what happened. One thing with loneliness that not a lot of people realize is that we need to find mindfulness, add that up with solitude if we want to overcome loneliness. If we are mindful enough to act upon what we're facing, upon the struggles that we have, it means that we are aware and very self-conscious for us to go beyond that, to not dwell in the problem, to actually do something about it instead of dwelling on it. Mindfulness is like the key point of this whole thing, other than solitude. Mindfulness helps with rumination. Rumination is like the process of looping the thought process, like being stuck in a negative loop. Instead of seeing loneliness as something that you're stuck in, maybe view it in a way that you think of it as your space to grow, as your space to rest, as your space to think, instead of, why is this happening to me? Why do I feel this way? And all the whys, all the big negative whys. You need to change the way you look at it in order for you to really understand why you're feeling the way that you are, or you were, or you will. And I'm pretty sure that everyone knows the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and there are a few points in that book that really relates with loneliness the way I haven't seen it before. In the book, he said, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This really proves to me that if you don't change your habit, there's no way that you will be near to your goals. The first thing that you need to pay attention to is the routine that you have, the habit system that you have. I was paying attention to mine, and that's when I started to recognize patterns and things that I need to change from that. Change for the better. It's not even a fixing. No one needs fixing. And it's really important to bear in mind that every action that you do on a daily basis, everything, including the small and the big things that you do in daily life, it's like a vote for the person that you will become in the future. If you do this, what kind of a person would do this? If you do that, how will you end up in the future? Like, it's all about thinking on the consequences and the benefits in the future, in the long run. And whatever that you're doing now, that is what will determine whether or not you will stay and maintain the way you are, or are you changing to a better person. So yeah, loneliness, cut. It's done. It really is. Like, I could have written a whole article on this. Maybe I will, not yet. Lately, I feel at peace. It's been what, like 2 months without social medias? By social media, I mean TikTok, IG, the big ones. And I feel like I don't feel the need to compare like how I used to have that. But it also is very important for me to stay connected with those medias. But I'm just trying out to, limit myself from consuming too much, because now I'm practicing creation more than consumption. And I've been learning languages, I've been reading a lot, I've been writing a lot, trying to create more than I could consume. And I'm really, really, really cautious of what I am consuming, the contents that I consume on a daily basis now. Even just mere scrolling feels like it makes me overthink, in a good way. It makes me think whether what I'm reading, what I'm seeing is good for my well-being, like my mental well-being or not. Those kind of stuff. It's like now, the version of me now is the most consistent I have ever been with my life, with growth, with progress, with a lot of things, honestly. Like, on the surface level, it looks like I don't have much going on, but yeah, that's the beauty with not oversharing your progress. And there's also beauty in oversharing the progress, because I have been in both situations. And let me just tell you, I cannot live quietly, but it's worth a try to try and be quiet. And it's actually peaceful. It has brought me the kind of peace that I will not be able to achieve had I still lived the way that I was before. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to talk about more in the next video, probably in the next upload or whatever. Before I end the video, thank you for listening. Let's talk again later.